you're beautiful, that's for sure. I don't know the rest of the words, but I'm like a bird. The other day, I was having a tough time. And when I have a tough time, I meditate and I write down what I'm feeling. And this is what I wrote down. Okay. Oh, my pen got stuck in my head. Ooh, you may be feeling stuck. Okay, I'm going to take that as a sign because why? The messages are everywhere and in everything. So I take everything, especially when we're recording and when we're in this energy, I take everything that happens as a sign. So you may be feeling stuck because the other day I was feeling mad stuck. And I started to write and I noticed that as I was meditating, there was two crows flying above me. It was almost like they were showing off to each other and they were just flowing so freely in the sky. And I was like, bro. And then I heard, I'm like a bird, right? Sometimes we just feel like getting away and just flying and just being free, just floating in the air and just being free away from everything and everyone, right? So I started to write down my thoughts and I'm going to share it with you. Okay. My daughter has, we took her to the dentist the other day because she has a cavity. So they gave her penicillin. So she's been on penicillin for a couple days. And as I was meditating and going through my emotions and my feelings and everything, the alarm went off. Okay. The alarm went off for her medicine. And usually I'm the type of person that I feel like I gotta do everything. Okay, like I gotta do everything at all times. No one else can do it. I have to do it. And I know that that is a trauma response from me having to actually do everything for such a young age. And as soon as I heard that, I just wrote, I can let others do what I once took in all for myself, what I once carried all for myself. Okay, I can let others do so that later on I don't burn out and crash out. I need to let others do. I cannot just sit there and keep thinking that I am the only one that can do everything, because that's not the case. You have a support system, okay? You need to be able to recognize them and see them and utilize them. Then I wrote, others are just as capable. You've had to do things alone for so long. You need to trust that it doesn't need to all fall on you. And I know this is for someone else out there. Then as I was writing about my parents, ever since I was little, with my parents, my song has always been Dancing Queen. You are the dancing queen, young and free, only 17. Feel the beat of your tambourine, ooh yeah. You can dance, you can fly, having the time of your life. It was playing, and as I was writing about my parents, I was crying like a baby because I've been dealing with a lot of healing with everything, with my parents and myself, okay? But that has been my jam, my song, given to me by my father since I was little. And I was writing what my parents thought was a parenting success actually led me to living in trauma and survival mode for almost my whole existence. I learned not to trust. I learned to put everything on myself even though my cup was already more than full. I learned that I could not depend on the very beings I once needed to depend on. This created a version of me that has been silently suffering for years. Sorry. I became a mom, a wife, and still kept piling on. All these years just going, doing, pushing myself to the back time and time again. This version needs to learn and keep learning to live, to exist for me. I was never taught, so I need to teach myself and commit to the lesson. This is the most important lesson I will ever learn. To know and be okay that I can place myself first, that I can trust others to help me and not keep repeating the cycle of my parents and my upbringing. I free myself. I liberate myself. of feeling I have to do it all, that I need to be all. My greatest accomplishment is coming back to myself and living a soft life, a life where there are others that truly love me and do for me, because I finally learned to love myself and do for me. The balance and the harmony. And I kept telling you guys that I keep seeing things in twos. There was 2 blue jays, there was 2 butterflies, there was 2 crows, everything in twos, because Spirit is asking me and asking you to come back into that balance, into that harmony, so that everything else around you can coexist within that balance. I shattered into a million pieces to find out that each piece that put me back together now has a different meaning, because I gave it its meaning. I stopped allowing others to put me back together the way they wanted to see me. I realized what mattered is how I see myself. I let go of my parents, my family, and who they taught me to be. I thank them from the bottom of my heart for every lesson and every opportunity that they gave me to come back to myself. I don't hold any grudges with them, because at the end of the day, people can only do what they can do from where they're at. And me holding on to all that only affects me and my healing process and my movement forward. And we don't want to keep hindering our movement forward or our healing for anything or anyone. I welcome who I know I can be and who I truly am and have been underneath it all. I'm like a bird. I love you.